Yeah. So concerning the the things related to Dorchester and that time period, it was really just me being doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Like hanging around the wrong crowd. And when you do that, there's repercussions, right?
Yeah.
Confrontation. But again, confrontation wasn't the thing that I mean, I don't want to say I wasn't afraid, like I was a tough guy. I don't think, but it's just, it happens. You have to respond somehow. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it happened. Um,
I'm just glad that you did not get shot
yeah,
because Dorchester is not a place that we used to go. Like
yeah.
it was.
But also,
It's,
Dorchester is not like the. I don't. I mean, at the time,
no, there was spots. There was place. Dorchester is really a good county. It's a good place, but there's a side
yeah,
in
yeah.
Dorchester that is really,
Where things
really
happen.
when things happens.
Yeah, but I mean, at that time again, like it wasn't. I wasn't. It wasn't things that I would come home and say, "Hey, mom, I just went to this place. This guy had,
Because
8 grams
I
and
will kill you myself before. So that's why you just said.
yeah." So I mean, but
If
it
you have to
wasn't.
go to Dorchester, I will be like,
Yeah, like, but it's something that happened, and I did that because again, today, right? Like we know people who I believe are more open about that subject because drugs are in schools, right?
yeah,
So for me, again, going back to the theme of immigration, it was to touch on those topics, right? Like
yeah.
to because before I said it was taboo, right? Like people acted like somehow their children were sheltered from but
From
you're not sheltered. Like
yeah,
it's
no,
happening. You
it's
know what I'm saying?
happening in school,
I
in
just
high
said it.
school.
Yeah. I just I mean, I just said what I lived through, and maybe it helped people. I hope it did to be able to have that conversation because I don't know that. I mean, I was never a user of any substance, so you know,
Yeah.
I was just trying to expand my experiences in business and learn about distribution.
Good for you. Black
Yeah,
magic, blue magic.
I guarantee it. But nah. So as far as like the parts of the book that were important to me to get out, I want to say all of them. Like, but I don't like because I can't pick one.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Why was it important for you to write a book?
because of what I was going through at the time. Because it was a lot of things, right? And like you said, so let's touch on the solitude thing because I think it all relates.
Yeah,
The experiences that we had when we went to the U.S. We met a lot of people that we were meeting for the first time.
yeah.
Some people who knew about us,
Uh-huh.
right? The way you interact with people changes because like in Cameroon people are welcoming. Like I could go on the street right now, start a conversation with a total stranger and we'll talk until 3 p.m. if I have nothing to do. In the US like at that time people were more guarded, right? So when you met somebody who you could be close with, naturally you get attached.
Uh-huh.
What you learn eventually is that you can't get attached. Like so eventually there was like this wall that came up. Like I wasn't a feely person. Like it's the emotions are dead. You could be polite, like hey we're around each other, we're polite. But if it's just like if I never talk to somebody again, it doesn't mean anything. And you live that way for a long time. I don't think it's normal. It shouldn't be normal, but it became normal for me.
It become normal. But that comes also with with what we had to go through.
Yeah.
You see someone, you eat with the person,
Right.
the person invites you in the house,
Right.
and the next day, all of a sudden, not the next day,
Yeah,
literally,
but
but maybe a week or
eventually.
2 weeks after you see the person just look at you like, who are you? Like,
Yeah, but I
and
think
this is
also
something that was just shocking to me. I was
it
like,
was new, but I think and that for like I think American people were great. I mean, people that we consider quote unquote American, like within that culture, that type of behavior was from the Cameroonian community that we ran into.
yes,
We have to specify that, and because of that, you don't take things. I didn't take things personal. It's just that I internalized a lot of things, right? Until if you get towards the end of the book to answer the question, if you get towards the end of the book to the part where things go haywire for me, right? Like, the money situation, the debts, and all these other things. Like, I had internalize so much. You can only, you know what I'm saying, and then
Yeah.
everything. But also, in order to get out of that, you got to be honest with yourself, right? And like a lot of things that I feelings that I had compartmentalized, like. Okay, I feel this way, but I put this away because there's no use for that emotion right now. So there's a lot of things that I didn't have a chance to feel in the moment. I just had to moving to Virginia, for example. I felt away, but you can't necessarily complain about it because who will listen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who cares? So, but it got to a point where okay, hey, I have no one to talk about this with. It happened, and I have to get this because I can't keep living like this. I can't keep all these stuff, all of these things in my head, and rethinking them over. So I thought, like, the thought process for me was like, all the because these were things that people who knew me or people who were close to me at that time would have to like hear over and over again in conversation, right? And it's like it got to a point where I didn't want to talk about that stuff anymore. So the best way to not talk about it anymore for me was to write it down and close the book on it and like open a new chapter. When my life
So
is
what
concerned.
what you were talking about death, and we were at that point. I really thought we were really open.
Right.
I'm surprised you did not come to me and say, okay, this is the situation. Even when I was asking you what's going on,
Right.
I had to hear from your cousin, you know, because even when it was happening,
Right.
I don't know, were you scared? Were you ashamed? Or what was going on?
Yeah. Oh, I
Why,
mean,
why did you come to me and say, Mom, this is the situation I'm getting myself into, or this is what happened?
in retrospect, like I don't think it started with. I mean, hindsight is 2020, right? It didn't start off with one thing, and that was like that's like a subtle thing in the book.
Yeah.
Cause like I just want to, and again, it's on me. I don't want to put that on you. It's just like the person that I developed into, right? Like, cause we speak about compartmentalizing things, like putting feelings away. So if we talk about like the drug dealing part of the book, right? Cause as I was reading, I noticed like I learned a lot about myself. Cause like when I learned that when I feel about like when I have an emotion or when I feel emotional about something, I react without thinking maybe or without like okay I'm gonna solve this and I don't give it enough thought. So I think the portion with the debt and the bank and all that stuff in the end of the book is similar to what happened with drug dealing, meaning that in my mind, right? Like when we moved, I like you went through a lot. You had a lot of things that you were going through. I couldn't. I like even with Cynthia. I think she would say we kind of had an understanding that we couldn't just throw more stuff on you. Like we couldn't bring more stress to you. You know what I'm saying? What we could handle outside, we'll handle outside. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll make sure that we got our grades so that you could be happy. You know what I mean? So that was just the way
Yeah,
that it was.
I learned that when she told me she had a ticket. I think it's a speeding ticket, and you had to, instead of telling me she had to go to court with you. So for me, I was like, oh really?
So
I didn't know.
concerning the death part, like I was saying, coming to you with things was not something that we felt like no one wanted to burden you with anything, right? And that was from very young. Now at that point in particular, just those bases were there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a thing where the instinct was to go to you with it, and also where I was I felt like I had to be a man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you didn't have any problems at that time either. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to like add on, and I also felt like okay, I got myself in this situation. I can't run to you now to get me out. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to like take responsibility for my actions. I felt, and
So did you learn anything from it, or
of course.
if you have to do if you had to do it all over?
If I had to do it again, no, I mean, I think I am today. I am happy with who I am, with where I am in life. Very happy. I think ultimately, I like to think I'm a spiritual person, and I think all of it happened for a reason, right? Because I'm much happier today. Like because that happened, I was able to write this book. I was able to, you know, start Nomad. I was able to start the foundation. I don't regret, quote unquote, regret it. Did I learn from it? Yes. Are there things that put in that same position I would do different? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. I don't have a time machine.
It happened. It happens.
Yeah, like I don't have a time machine. But there's
So,
things I would.
I want us to talk about you going to China,
Okay.
and I know you did not say that in the book. I remember when you came to me and said, "Mom, I'm going to China. I want to go to China. I have application to school for the
Which
son."
time? The
Was it
last time or
no the first
the very
time?
first?
The
Not the
first
very first
time.
time.
The
Okay.
first time you went to China was to study.
Right.
You signed yourself for a Sun Yat Sen
Right.
University,
Yeah.
and you came to me and said, "Okay." I was like, "What are you talking about, China?"
Right.
So once you got to China,
Yeah.
what made you
Like it?
mm?
Like China or?
Like I know you how you had only 2 semester in Sun Yat. Did you do 2 semester and
It was. It was two.
only 2 semester or 3 semesters?
No, actually, it was officially it was three. By the third semester, I wasn't.
You start doing business, you start selling stuff,
Yeah.
sending stuff to America.
Right.
Why? Instead of finishing what you had to do, I want to know because
Okay, so being in China, right? Uh, the thing was, to learn Chinese, right?
yeah,
But before that, I think it should be prefaced with, I didn't leave the U.S. to go to China because my life was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like there was the whole part where you get kicked out of school. But when I got there, it was like, okay, learn Chinese, right? But how, you go to class every day to learn Chinese and you do nothing else? No, so while I was there, I met people who were doing business on such a high level,
yeah.
really, really high level. But this is me from Virginia who had trouble getting a minimum wage job. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't get a job, but then I'm amongst people, I'm with factory owners. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are making a living. And at the time, I don't know how it is today because I don't do that anymore. But at the time, it's like everything was running 1,000 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? Like opportunity was everywhere. So with the little bit of Chinese that I knew, there was the fair in the Guangdong fair. So I started going there with my roommate at the time, peace and Memphis. And yeah, so that's just how it started. You go to this fair, you meet this other person who has this store. It was just a lot of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So to say you're gonna sit in class and learn Mandarin, it wasn't realistic. But it was. I was happy to be there, and I don't regret anything about that either. It was exciting, and there is still a lot of opportunity in that direction for later on in life.
So do you think you would go to China again,
Absolutely, but just
but
not.
not to settle?
No, not to say like I would do business with that, like with the foundation actually. There's things that I will be getting into. But again, it's knowing how to utilize it, right? Because I think experience is important for that reason, knowing how to use it moving forward. You know.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about your experience, but I want us to go back to when we got to America
Hmm.
and when you started school.
Hmm.
And I remember, even though here you were having you had some, I won't say knowledge in English because you were going to a bilingual school. You were 9 years old.
Yeah.
At 9, when you started school at Salem Wood,
Right.
I want to know what was that first day like, if you can still remember.
The first day, the first day was
Maybe the first week.
okay. The first week is
Because I know it was exciting for you guys because it was like, okay, everything is new,
yeah.
there's free food. Then
It wasn't free at the time. At the
then
time,
the
it was
reality
one dollar
kicks
twenty
out.
five.
Yeah, but it was still free compared to
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it was American food, right? It
yeah.
wasn't. It was cool. It was junk food. But the first week, I think, because the first day I don't really remember it too much. It was just like, okay, you're in this class, you're in that class, and you're the new kid. No one speaks to you. The first week, like the second day, because the first day you dropped us, we were dropped off. The second day when we had to take the bus, it was like I speak about it in the book. You know,
Yeah,
me and
you
Cynthia
took
getting
us to
lost.
school. Yeah, you took the
Right.
dorm bus.
Yeah, and then but after that though, there was a period of adjust, like just I don't want to say adjusting, but accepting.
Yeah.
You know, you know, I don't know, like let it all work out, like time, because like you can't say okay, I don't speak the language, so my war is going to be to speak the like. You're just gonna, and just in general in life, you can't force it. You know what I mean? You do what you can, and then eventually it got normal, or it got to some level of normalcy, and I think that's what life is. Like eventually you get to a place where you find balance, right? And I think I'm at that place today in
And I
general.
see in the book too. I mean, you always have a close relation with your grandma, Mami Kate. Like you always have a like you guys are
Yeah.
a match. And in the book, I felt a way when you said you wrote that I was not able to take you to the game.
Right.
Grandma was the one doing that,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like I was sitting home.
I know. I like, but it was. But it was true. Okay, were you able to take me to the game?
I was not able, but
Yeah,
I thought her taking you is
yeah, she was helping out, but I wasn't indifferent about it. Like I think like you said, I don't express what I feel, right? Like
yeah.
because okay, Cynthia was good at getting you to come to a game, right? Or to
No, getting me. Cynthia was good at like she was like if I don't come, and sometimes she'll be like, "Mom, don't worry, I have someone who's gonna pick me up. I have this person who, this parent will drop me."
right, but
But
that was never my
you always like
I'm
if
alright.
I rather walk than asking someone to take me.
Right. Maybe that's pride. Yeah, like I don't do well with begging often. So I
So
just
at
think
that point, what my question is there? I won't say if it's forgiveness or do you understand
nah. Even then,
why I was not able to take you there or
yes, yes. Even then, at that time, I understood, and it was just a thing. Like it was just my reality. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't. I don't feel animosity towards you for it. I learned lessons from it. You know. You know, I can today, like if I was to have a kid, like I know how it feels to not, you kind of feel abandoned. But I also understand what the situation. It wasn't like a regular situation where you just chose to. It's not like you were chilling out and you said, "No, go by yourself." I get it. There's no ill feelings. But if anything, it it made me grateful. I mean, I did have grandma. It's not like I was always going by myself. Maybe after she left, but those memories were still there. And also, it was at that time I wasn't necessarily like, especially for the soccer. Like when I was playing soccer, I wasn't. It was like we understood what was going on. Like you were
yeah.
trying to. It was an understanding. It felt funny like playing football and getting into the drugs because you know I think for the people who were playing football, especially in high school in Pop Warner, it was an event for their families. You know what I'm saying? Like the family knew that Saturday they had an activity on, Friday night they had an activity on, like, with us it wasn't that. You were at work, Cynthia was, either taking care of Yasmin. Like there was the dynamic in our
Yeah.
family was different. So, um, understanding that when I was playing football in high school, and you go to the game, but you never see anybody that you like. I'm not entertaining your parents, like, what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna like. It's freezing
So
out.
that's why you didn't want
Well,
to
no, we're going to the bar.
continue with the.
We're going to
That's
the
why you
bar.
didn't want to continue with
Yeah,
football.
because I mean, like, what did it mean for me? Like, like
But in the
I didn't
hindsight
think
now,
football was fun. Huh?
I know when you're a child, you do it for your parents,
Yeah,
but
yeah. So I mean,
it is what it is. It was not for you to.
yeah. Like, but I mean, you learn a lesson from it. I don't. It happened how it happened. In hindsight, I wish I would have played because I think I would have stayed out of trouble more. It's important, so it's
Yeah,
important to stay busy and play sports.
and
You know.
in the book, do you have? And it looks like I'm the one asking questions.
No, like, okay, this is a cool thing that I would like to know is after reading it, and maybe we touched upon it. After reading the book, is there anything that you would do differently at any point?
Um, if I have to do all over again,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Moving to America with my kids, I will definitely move with my kids, but I wouldn't. I will put myself because I know, and now
Yeah.
I know what I can prioritize.
Uh,
Of course, some stuff I couldn't do without it because I had to learn English. I had to get a job for you guys to be well, and I have to improve myself. But most of the stuff I wouldn't do.
okay.
My like except of all those stuff that I said, getting it,
Instead of those things.
getting my situation stable
Right.
for you guys to be stable. There's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't do.
Okay.
I will focus on my kids, my kids, my kids. It's not that I did not focus on you, but some stuff.
Like, not to cut you off, but so if I understand correctly, it would be more about your children than including people from the outside.
Outside.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Because that was something that I won't say I regretted because it helped me understand how human beings is, you know. Yeah, yeah, my professor, one of the things, how human beings are, because I was a, I used to trust a lot, I brought a lot of people in the house, I didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
and that was a huge mistake.
In response to that, though, I think it made me how I like shut down to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, be private and like be.
If that help you, it's good.
No, I don't know that it was a good thing.
Be
Like,
private is a good thing.
but I'm not. I'm private in a weird way. Like, I choose what I.
Of course,
You know what I want you to know. If
of
I
course,
don't want
that's how it should
you.
be. But I did not do that. I will open my door to everyone,
Yeah, yeah. Which is,
and it's something
but
that I did not protect you guys from that.
okay.
And you saw a lot of my heartbreakings. I don't say if it's heartbreakings. How do they call it?
Heartbreaks or
No, I don't.
disappointments with people,
Disappointment with people,
disagreements,
and you
fallouts.
guys saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, it's like not protecting you.
No, why? Like, I don't care
No,
about that.
because you saw that. Like you will see. Oh, where is this person now? Oh, she doesn't
Like,
come anymore.
I thought, I still think it's funny. No, I don't care about it. Like, and even to those people, like, I don't take it because I mean, not. It's not like hate. I just understood what it was. I think there was a hint of culture. Because again, Cameroon is not like the U.S. where you know culture changes people.
They come
You know
to
what I
you
mean?
when they need you,
Right.
and once they don't need you, boom, they
Right.
disappear.
So the culture in Cameroon was different. Number one, number two, the way that you were brought up, and also being in a new country, you may have made friends at work and at the language schools that you went to, but you were yearning for people from your culture. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that,
That's true.
and I don't, like. I was never like, okay, such and such is my best buddy. Like you just kind of get you like you understand that in life in general, right? So to show you that it's not even these people's fault. It's nobody's fault really. I was telling you one day you, like you in life you walk our path, right?
Yeah.
Along that path, there's people that walk with us, but at some point those paths diverge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not all going to the same place. Maybe like it's kind of like flying a plane. Like when you get in an airplane and you have to, uh, you have a layover in France, for example, right? For you, France is a layover. For that person, it's a final destination. For that person, it's a layover to China. That's, you know what I mean? Like it's just the way that life goes, And also like with the people that you sit next to, whether it's on the bus or for a while you're close to that person, but then you get out of the plane and you never speak to them ever again.
Close to them physically.
Well, not physically or whatever the case may be. Just you're in proximity. For example, like you might be in an airplane and hey, put up your put up your tray. The person is nice to you, like they're looking out for you. But then you may never see. It's just a thing of life. I don't think that there's anything to regret from that. It's a thing that happens. You know, the way the world is now, though, I don't think it's like you can never take those things personal. Like, also, everything that happens, like the people we meet, teach us a lesson. Like, so I don't think that you left on bad terms with anybody. Like, like you don't have beef with anyone. So there will be a moment again where those things can come together. Lord willing. And if it doesn't, as long as everybody's healthy, you feel me? Yeah. You know.
I have another question to ask you. After reading your book, if someone gets this book or get the audio book and read it and come to you and say, okay, Carl, I heard your book. I want to go to America. What will be your response?
Honestly,
from your point of view, like be with the experience with everything. Yeah.
Today, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I don't think that immigration or the world is even how it was like, certainly not 4 years ago, right? And then it's even less how it was 2000 was what 22 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it's like the world has changed so much because you gotta remember we moved before September 11th. Yeah. Right. Today there's technology and like the reason why we moved. One of the main reasons that I remember us moving was for you to quote unquote have a better life, sure, but stability was really the thing, right? Like to be able to have a stable income, to be able to make a living. And the way I feel today is that the Zoom, right? Like there's like I don't think people need to move anywhere to do anything anymore. Sincerely, you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't because it's a big investment, by the way. Like especially in Cameroon. Like if you say if a plane ticket costs $2,000 for example, just then the visa costs, or let's say just the paperwork is gonna cost you close to 1,000, in that ballpark. So you're looking at $2,500. Right? You have to get there. You have to find a place to live. That's gonna cost you. You gotta pay like the first, second, and third month deposit. You're looking at, I mean, like let's just say 5,000, right? 5,000. I think you can start a business in Cameroon to to do something. I mean, like you'll make more doing that. There, like you're just kind of throwing, you're throwing everything at the board to see what sticks. You know what I mean? And I don't know that I certainly would not advise it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I sincerely like unless there's another way of doing it. Now, let's say you're skilled in something, right? And you do it well, and then you can take what you do well to go there and apply it. Then yes, by all means. But again, you're getting paid like a professional. Like you're not going there to like, look, I'm starting minimum wage. They're gonna make fun of me because I don't speak this language. Like I wouldn't. I personally would not advise it. Carl did that, so hopefully you wouldn't go through that.
I don't think you did that. I don't think like,
Yeah,
moving was on me
yeah, I know.
and your dad.
I know.
You when you.
Yo, I know you like drink cool and stuff, but yeah. So my question to you in return now, right? Yeah. Would you advise if if a woman came up to you and she was 32, 32 years old, she walks up to you and says, "Yo, I'm trying to go to this country. Um, I'm trying to leave Cameroon or I'm trying to leave whatever country I came from. What advice do you have for me? Or would you advise me to go? Yeah, what advice do you have for me?"
It depends. If the person comes to me and say, okay, it depends of the person,
Yeah.
what the person is able to do.
Uh,
If the person has children, you know, all depends. If you hear you have a stable job and you want to go, I will say no, don't do it. Work, get some money, go to America, visit, spend
right.
2 weeks, and come back. But if the person is like, okay, I'm struggling, I can't do this, but I'm able, don't say I'm gonna sell my lines to go to America. Don't do that. Don't say I'm gonna sell my house to go to America. No, don't do that. You know. But if going to America is a must, I would advise the person to really, really do their homework. Do some research. Where are you going? What are you gonna do when you get there? How are you planning to do that? Those are the questions that you will have to ask yourself before you make that jump. You know.
I wanted to touch on something, right? Like, we didn't get a chance to. Maybe we did, and I forgot. Um, you asked me earlier what one of my favorite things in the book was, right?
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite parts. I'm sincerely like just being completely open and transparent. The third chapter of the book
Yes.
touches on, and that was like one, two, three. Those chapters came out like the same, few days. I think I did one a day at that point. But the third chapter of the book and in my life, like my relationship with my older siblings, right? At the time that I started writing the book, it was still like non-existent. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end of the book, there's a thing that happens where I call my sister Audrey,
Yeah.
right? And I think like because the book has a lot of full circle moments. I think for me that that part of it, that was a full circle moment. You know what I mean? Like full circle moment because growing up it meant so much to me.
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened, and then we lost touch for years, like for the entire book.
Yeah.
But then, like at the end, I do place that phone call, and over the past since I wrote the book, over the past I don't know how many years, like we've we've
in
developed
touch.
right, like we keep in touch, like we've kept that bond. You know what I'm saying? Like she visits. Like when I was in Paris, we actually got a chance to we hung out we hung out constantly. Like, we hung out a lot. So that was like for me that was out of everything in the book. Like sincerely,
Yeah.
like it just hit me. I was thinking about that. Like that was for me that was the closure in it, right? And going back to the theme of the book, like the idea of not holding grudges, like the idea of like just move on, man. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that serious. Like
Congratulations on the book, Karl, and I really, really liked it. And I will recommend it to parents who plan to migrate to America with with the family to read this book, but because it will really, inspire them.
yeah, even people who are already there.
Even people who are already there, yeah, of course, inspire them and how to be close and listen to your kids, listen to whatever they're doing, follow them. I think you did a good job. I wish I had this book when I was going to
Yeah,
America.
you gotta do your book next. You know what I'm saying? That we gotta put your book together.
Okay.
I think it would be cool. Um, hey, one final question. Um, being that I'm your favorite, you know what I'm saying, of all your children,
You are what?
your favorite child of all your children, like we're like Jesus and Mary,
Who said that?
like these are true facts
How do you know?
because
You know who my favorite is, and I will never tell. I will never tell my favorite.
yeah, all right, hey, this has been incredible. I want to thank you for doing this with me. Like from the bottom of my heart, the support that you provided with everything that from the foundation to Nomad, and like you do a lot of things behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? So it feels good to have you in the forefront. For this one. Except for me. Yeah. Hopefully somebody can help a brother out with that. um. Yeah. I Before we go, I also want to give, because this whole thing was also partially like inspired by Bob. So shout out to Bob. Thank you for giving me the idea to sit down with my mother and discuss the book like this. So once upon a time in America, the True Tale of an Immigrant. The book is available on Amazon. The physical copies are available on Amazon, and also I recorded an audio version of the book, which is also available. It's definitely on Audible. It should be on. It is on Apple. I've seen it on Apple, on Apple, and where else? Yeah, like just find it. You know what I'm saying? It's out there. You guys are smart. You'll figure it out.
There is also a question I really want to ask you
Yeah.
in the book, because this part,
What part?
the part in Dorchester,